Oh, there.
Hi, Antoinette. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Louise. Good evening. Hi, everybody.
Listen, Antoinette, I nearly forgot that it's just Tuesday because I had the best day ever. We were out on the bikes the whole day, and we went from antique shop to antique shop, and we had the best time ever. So it was just the best day I've had in a long time. You wouldn't say I'm busy with the last few days before the summit is going live, but sort of organized. So I think we need to change this Tuesday thing because if I'm going to take the day off on a Tuesday, one day I'm going to actually forget that we have a live.
No problem. Much more important that you have fun. And is it still snowing there? Did you go out in the
No,
snow?
no, the snow went away. It was one terribly miserable day and snow, and during the night it snowed a little bit more, and the morning sunshine all gone. A little bit on the mountains still. You can probably still find them in the mountains, but not here. Okay, so we are talking today about, we have to talk about this because this is something that I've seen so often lately that um, people actually really believe that they are communicating just simply because they are talking. And everyone who believes that they are communicating blames the other person. And it's like, wow, I can actually say this in 5 minutes. We don't have to talk about this for an hour. If you are talking and you are not getting your desired effects, then you're not communicating. It's like, wham, bam, that's simple. Do we need to talk about this, Antoinette?
Yeah, I think we do, Louise, because
Really?
it's
Okay,
simple
wait. I need to.
in
Sorry, wait. Let me change it. This is not what.
where am I? I'm talking from the right there. I think we do need to talk about it because it's simple in theory, and I thought I was a very good communicator, but in my relationship, there's definitely something not being communicated. And it's obviously the way I'm doing it. So, despite the fact that I can do public speaking and with most people I can communicate well in this relationship, I'm not, obviously, because I'm not, yeah, because it plays out, as you said, I think in one of your posts, as withdrawal, resentment, yeah, distance. There's all kinds of things that start happening. So, how do we communicate? That's what I want you to tell me tonight, please. How do we do it effectively? Are you there, Louise? Oh, Louise has now disappeared. That's interesting. Okay, I don't know where Louise has gone, so I'm going to have to just wrap it on for a while, I guess, until she comes back. I don't know about anybody watching, but for me, I'd self-healed a lot with, from the inside out on my own personal journey, and then I got into a relationship 2.5 years ago, and there's definitely something that's not being communicated well because I quite often feel frustrated and unheard, and I feel like my partner doesn't want to talk, and I'm quite sure he has his own take on this, but we have obviously not very effectively communicated because I feel that he's withdrawn and I withdrew, and I can be quite bitchy and lose it and act like a
Oh, aren't I?
5-year-old child. Are you back? Because I'm just
I'm,
rabbiting.
no, I've heard everything. So,
Good.
so
Okay, well, that's it. I think in summary, you can see I clearly need some assistance here, so I'm sure other people do as well.
so I hope I caught all of that while I was trying to get the controls to work. I'm not experimenting with them again because I managed to remove myself from the stream, but I could see everything going on. Okay,
Okay, no.
let's start with the fears that we have because I think that's where we need to start. So we have, as soon as we, as look, we may either arrive with our people pleaser attitude. So that's like it's less toxic. It gets us likes, and we can go through this life with this people pleaser thing. We can get quite far because people do like a people pleaser. Um, it's the people pleaser that gets burned out and don't actually get their own needs fulfilled. And you may also be the people pleaser in the relationship, or you may be in the relationship with a people pleaser. So that's why I want to start with this one, because a people pleaser is basically somebody who really gets their self esteem from being there for other people, and they don't have enough self esteem to say, bloody hell, no, already, what about me? This is all we want a people pleaser to say, to stand up for themselves and say, oh, wow, wow, it's my own fault. I have let people use me, abuse me, um, walk over me simply because I quite like being being affirmed for being so helpful and so always there and such a great person to have around, and you can always push on this one's button and so reliable. Now let me see if we see any hands going up. Like, okay, yes, that's me. Okay, but you could also be in the relationship with a people pleaser, and then the people pleaser is not going to like you not liking them. They want to be liked more than anything else. Okay, so that's really important. A people pleaser wants to be liked. Okay, then you can be the person who's the avoiding anything that looks like conflict. So conflict avoidant. So and conflict avoidant, again, you don't have enough self-esteem to actually say no. But conflict avoidant goes with a lot of passive aggressive behavior in the end, because you avoid conflict, but you're not doing it from the people pleaser place. You're doing it with a lot of resentment in the end. You may start there, but in the end, you're going to do it with a lot of resentment, because if you are conflict avoidant and you've been like that all of your life, because we don't change halfway in our lives. That's our pattern. Then you are just simply never going to get your needs met, and it's not like a people pleaser who at least gets liked for being so sweet and so helpful and so always there and saving the whole world. Yeah, so we get self esteem from being a people pleaser, and we don't get self esteem from being a conflict avoider. Okay, so there are a lot of ding ding dings going on. Come on, people, give me some hearts here. I want to know. Tell me tell me if you are either of those two. Okay, Antoinette, those two making sense to you? Are you seeing some patterns?
Yeah, more in my other half than myself. I feel like I've just been, I haven't, I think where I've fallen short is I haven't communicated clearly enough what I need in the right way, I think. And I think I'm with
Yeah.
somebody who likes to please and avoids conflict, maybe. I don't know. He'll know better
Yeah.
than me. There isn't a lot of open, honest conversation. So I find myself trying to communicate, and I probably don't do it very well because I can have quite a sharp tongue. And I've pendulum swung from being one of those people pleasers, Louise, to now being overly, well, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but overly like outspoken and tough, maybe. I think it's been a pendulum swing. So it's not easy to be at the other end of me. And then when I can't get heard or when I'm not heard, then I just say, oh, well, I don't want to keep on being this like whiny, naggy bitch. So I go like, just don't hook in, Antoinette. Just chill out, just relax. You can have the conversation one day, and then that day doesn't come, or I try and do it and it doesn't happen. And the next thing I find myself becoming like my 5-year-old brat self, and I'm having a little hissy fit.
Yeah.
So it's not a very healthy cycle, actually. And I'm feeling within myself, and I'm being very honest, it's quite hard to say this, but I'm feeling resentment building up in me now because I feel like I'm not heard. And then I'm doing this terrible thing of having hissy fits and talking in a very loud, bitchy, judgmental voice. So it's not a good cycle. I do know
Well, our
that.
problem is that any of these hamster wheel cycles, they start more or less in one of these ways. They start by somebody not asking, somebody not talking. So we've got hamster wheel cycles, and it always ends in having non-stop fights about everything and nothing. That's where it goes to, and and it is usually comes with people withdrawing and not actually speaking and punishing each other or manipulating each other with silence. Okay, but now those two are only part of it's only part of what's the story. So another part of the story is something that like nearly all of us do, and where we are not in our own queue whatsoever. So because we're not in our own queue, we don't understand that we are adults and we are responsible for our own wants and needs. So if we have done this all of our lives, it's not the same as the people pleaser. You can simply not know that you're supposed to have wants and needs, and you're supposed to open your mouth and ask for it. It might be the example that your parents said that usually it's adult child syndrome, adult child pattern, that you are a little adult before you are grown up. You take care. You don't get your needs met, so you don't expect them to have them met. You have it. You have this growing void inside your life, but you just don't understand what it is. You're always searching for the next guru, searching for the answer, searching for the next stars to align, searching for something because of this void in your life. But what you are really looking for is to have your wants and needs met, and you're supposed to ask for them. Like, really seriously, today I had my wants and needs met. I had to put down everything I was doing and saying, I'm going out. Today I am taking care of me. I'm going out. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I feel like a new person tonight. It was honestly the best thing I could do to have my wants and needs met. But nobody was to say to me, "Oh, Louise, don't you think you're working too hard? Maybe you should go get on your bike and go somewhere." No. Really? Whose job is it? It's mine. I am supposed, and we don't. We're like, mind reading. But somebody should know if you're doing that. Oh, give us another thumbs up there. But I want to know if you are doing it, if you're expecting somebody should just know what you need and want. Hello, no, mind reading doesn't exist. You are an adult, you're supposed to speak. So once we get past those three problems, then we have to go to the really serious relationship. Now we are in deep shit, okay? Because now we are in a relationship we don't want to lose. And then here's the biggest problem that comes in. Okay, are you all ready? The biggest problem is fear of abandonment. I mean, you're really into this guy, you like him so much, you're really into this person, you really want to be with him. This is an important relationship. You do not want to lose it. So you stop giving boundaries. Now you've learned to give boundaries with your friends, in your workplace, with your family, with your mother, everyone. But your intimate relationships is as a test every single time. Every single time. Because of fear of abandonment. You can go and do all the hard work, and your mother is always the hardest one. You can go and do all the hard work. But if you're into a relationship where you really don't want to lose that other person, especially because they unconditionally love and accept yourself like you sometimes don't even know how to love and accept yourself. Oh, bloody hell, you don't want to lose this. And now you're in trouble. Now you are in deep trouble because you feel so completed by this, and you're not supposed to feel so completed by this. So you don't want to lose this. So no boundaries, or very careful boundaries, or waiting too long with the boundaries, or don't know how to say the boundaries. And then you're resentful when your boundaries are stepped over. And then also will be a bit of that people pleaser coming out. And then it's the dance that starts. If we don't know how to talk to each other as adults, you have to be in a relationship with somebody who knows about stepping into adult mode and not into parenting mode or to child mode. If now I need to look for the diagram again. So if you're unaware of it's called transactional analysis, and it's by Eric Berne. So it's like the magic. It's the magic. Once we understand about transactional analysis, where we are going into our parent state, you shouldn't, but why? Oh, it's so obvious. Like, why on earth are you not doing this thing? It's so obvious. I know how to do it. Oh my word, parenting teaching mode. Ah la la. That person brings out the child in the other one. So the child is punitive, difficult, rebel mode, plain no immediately, especially you have to do this. Immediately, rebel mode. And then sometimes if you come out from a very helpless place, the other person go into parenting mode, and you feel more and more helpless and more powerless, and it sucks. And the other person go to, yeah, but you should, and I told you, and told you so, and how, and why you never listen, and that kind of language. And so the worst is when both of us go into child mode, because that is usually where these fights go to. That's the hissy fit, lying on your back, kicking your legs in the air, throwing stuff at each other. That's where we don't want to go to. There's like all the rules of decency disappear when we go into child mode. There's nothing that we say that's off bounds. We're out to hurt each other. We'll get personal. We'll be completely irrelevant. We'll bring out all the fights that we've ever had or never had, and we'll get very personal. And so that's where we don't want to go. That's when after this fight, nothing is resolved, and all we have to do is go take a shower because we feel so dirty and contaminated that we don't even know how to start over again. And then there is a silence, and eventually one partner will make up again, and then it will, in the early stages, it will feel good, but the more this carry on, the more damage is being done to our relationships, and then it becomes hard to repair. Okay, where are you now? Why are you now muted? Are you muted?
No, sorry, I had muted myself. Where am I?
Yeah,
actually,
after this long talk.
After all of that, where am I? Probably a bit of all of it, but I think I don't know what my needs are actually. How's that for interesting? It's been an observation I've had recently, is that maybe I didn't state my needs because I didn't know what they were. I've never been in a good relationship before. I've had some pretty cuck relationships, I've had bad relationships.
You have to start there. You have to have needs. You have to figure out what your needs are. And sorry, guys, don't hate me, but if you're in a relationship with a man, you have to tell them exactly what your needs are. You're not supposed to let them guess. You have to say, you don't say, I feel so neglected. You have to say, can you please spend 10 minutes with me tonight walking on the beach because I've missed you? Not, I feel so neglected. That means nothing. You're speaking a foreign language that doesn't get translated into the male brain. Don't hate me, guys. I love you all. I'm just trying to help you here, okay?
But what if you have a need what if you have a need that someone can't meet and they say they can't?
Okay, then it really depends on it. Say you are like if I love my motorbike, but now I've had a husband who's been having a lot of time in the hospital because of a bike accident. So I want to go out on a bike ride, and he can't meet my need in that moment. I can be like, okay, like, why do you go and fall off your bike? Like, you're spoiling my life. Seriously unreasonable, but we do that kind of stuff. Instead of saying, okay, it sucks, sorry, I'm going to leave you in your bed, I'm going to phone somebody else and say, can we go on a bike ride? Now I'm taking care of my own needs. And we can literally take that and we can go and apply that to all areas of our lives. If you like with a very jokey, funny, uplifting guy, and you want some intellectual conversations, go find yourself some intellectual conversations. You don't. Nobody's supposed to be all things for everyone. So you are supposed to have a wide circle you can go to, so that in your relationship you can accept the other person for exactly who they are. Because if you don't want to accept them for who they are, you're trying to change them, and that's unfair. And that's going to get you back into easy for time and silence and withdrawal and punishment. Because remember what we love more than anything else? Being unconditionally accepted and loved for who we are. So the minute we start having unreasonable expectations of another person of who they cannot be, they feel less than. So we're not supposed to do that. I think that makes sense. It's just that we don't know it, and we actually do the opposite.
Are there not core needs, though, that people, I don't know, psychologists once told me, your very core needs you can't compromise on. And do you think that's true? I mean, one of my
Yeah.
very big needs in relationship is open, honest communication. It doesn't have to be intellectual or spiritual. But if the other person says sorry, they just can't meet that need, then that's quite an interesting situation.
Antoinette, I want absolutely everyone. It is very often a male thing, but not exclusively. Women are also sometimes hurt so much that they just don't open up. So, but it is more common with men. That men are being told they're not supposed to have feelings. They're celebrated for not having feelings. Yeah, mommy's big boy. Look how you're not crying. That kind of nonsense. So, and then and that kind of nice voice, mommy's big boy. Look how brave you are. You're not even crying. Oh bloody hell, go cry, boy. It's fine. Nobody will melt. And if he cries, comfort him and celebrate him for crying. That's how we grow a next healthy generation. But now we sit with the results of a generational trauma. We sit with the results of so many years of just having society who have taught men not to feel. I mean, if you watch Sunday Live, Sunday Seeds this week, I've talked about that too, and I think it's so important that if you haven't seen Sunday Seeds, please go and look at it, everybody, because it ties in with this. I don't want to repeat what I said there, but not having somebody who talks to you is a huge frustration for us. And one of the guys in the summit said it so beautifully. He said, "Guys, you are with an emotional being. Women are emotional beings. Children are emotional beings. You need to up your game." Wow. Isn't that like, don't you get goosebumps when you hear that? That is why I'm in love with all these guys. I'm telling you seriously. Now, here's the problem. These guys, I mean, I've interviewed 16, and most of them have had to learn. A lot of them lost their relationships because they were unwilling to learn. They were hard-headed, stubborn, and proud, and without tools. And a lot of them had to lose their relationships before they became willing to do deep inside work. We don't want that. We want guys to wake up and understand. You are with emotional beings. You are an emotional being. It is a core need. We are not the same people our grandfathers were. We are not the same people. We are changing. We are a changing human species now, and there are, you know, there are very few women who are eventually, maybe still this generation, but very few women are going to end up being okay with somebody who doesn't share their emotions and speak freely. So we need to heal ourselves so we're not people pleasers, conflict avoidance, uh, scared of abandonment, and squishing down our feelings on purpose because we have been celebrated for squishing down our feelings. We have to heal ourselves. So it is a core need, Antoinette.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even talking about feelings, but just talking about real stuff and stuff that's going down in the relationship. I I mean, I've spoken to a couple of women, and it seems that there's quite a few men that can't do this. But how do people sustain long-term relationships if there can't be at least some level of honest, open communication about what's going on and each other's needs?
Antoinette, I mean, we have to look at the number of divorces, and we have to look at the number of people having affairs, and we have to look at how many people are addicted to something, and we have to look at all of that, and it clearly shows us that something is so wrong in our lives, in our outlooks, in our coping skills, and we have to start with communication, because first of all, what we have to do is, this is so simple, this is a core rule for a relationship. Everybody is supposed to do their 50%. I'm not saying you should wash the dishes 50% of the time, and I'm saying you should do your 50% and how it works for your relationship. And you cannot do it if you're not willing to talk and negotiate. Talk and negotiate, talk and negotiate. And you have to talk and negotiate all the time, because who you are and who your partner is changing all the time. We are growing up. We are learning more things. We're becoming more adult. We need to keep on renegotiating as we become aware of more things in our life that is not working. So how do we do that if we're not willing to talk? How do we do that if we're not willing to show up and say, I have this itsy bitsy tiny little thingy scratching me. If you have something scratching you in your shoe, you take your shoe off, you take it out, you put your shoe back on, and you carry on. But we don't do that in a relationship. We let that bloody thing scratches, and we keep on coming back to it. And then we keep on going through our hamster wheel, and we end up at the same place. So I'm going to give everybody a tip about it. That's so important. I mean, there's 2 tips that I'm going to give you about the hamster wheel and communication, which is hugely important. Now, I'm going to give you 3. So the first one is this, that do not have your conversations when you are heated up. That's not when you have conversations. You have conversations when you are feeling the most loving, calm, centered adult version of yourself, and the relationship feels beautiful. We don't do that. We want to cherish those moments, especially the more stormy it becomes, and then only in those explosions come out our hurts, our truths, how we feel rejected, how we feel not important, and it's ugly, and the other person cannot hear it. Can't. You're going to have that same conversation again. You want to learn how to have an adult conversation. And an adult conversation, you are not going to blame, judge, shame the other person. You're going to simply say, I need to talk to you about this because it's so important to me. And if you can do it like this, if you can just like sit here and listen to me and just say to me, I agree with you or don't agree with me. Or don't fix me, just listen to me. Or you have to say exactly what you want. You have to say, when you talk down to me in front of your friends, I felt so not important to you. And I really cannot be so disrespected in a relationship. I hope you can respect me enough to understand that that's not on. And it's totally non-negotiable for me. That you cannot say you love me and then you speak down to me in front of your friends. I need to understand why you find it necessary to put me down in front of your friends. That's an adult way of saying it in the calm times. And that you're totally entitled to say that. If you're being treated like that, you're entitled to say that. But you have to be very specific about one thing that you need fixing, and you have to try and say it as soon as it's happened. Don't leave it for weeks of long face and throwing the flowers in the dustbin when it comes and, punitive behavior. Say it while it's a little fox. While it's a little fox, not when it's a whole horde of him descending on you. Say it one by one little thing at a time. And if you're being disrespected like that, I want to ask you, why are you in this relationship? But there's a difference between being disrespected or you disrespecting somebody else and being with somebody not able to express your own feelings. That's not the same thing. I think that's what you're talking about, Antoinette.
Yeah, there's definitely no abuse in my relationship. There's a very kind, caring person who unconditionally loves me, actually, but can't communicate. But I also haven't showed up to do my bit very well, actually. I think I've been reactive and judgmental and cross and yeah, and the one or two times I've tried to do it nicely, I never got a great response, so I just leave it. It's yeah, so it's definitely two-way street, but there is no abuse in my relationship at all. Maybe from my side, but definitely not from his.
Okay, so I am going to show you. This is what you want to get, and I'll tell you on which page in my book it is. Okay, you can actually go open it and try and read that chapter and read it together because this is so important. It's chapter 34, it's difficult conversation. And before that, there's a chapter that says, what is a good relationship? And it's this one, it's earmarked like this. Okay, because this tells you that a good relationship is when you have two healthy people in it. And two healthy people each have to do their entire part, their 50%. And 50% is I'm willing to say what bothers me, I'm willing to ask you for more. That's part of your 50%. I'm willing to talk if something's bothering me. I'm willing to listen to you if something's bothering you. Now, those are the most important of your 50%. Those, if you don't get that right, if you're not willing to listen to the other person, no matter how hard it is, if you're not willing to speak about what bothers you, if you're not willing, then that's the part that's critical. If you don't do that, you're going to start going like this into the hamster wheel relationship, where it just never gets resolved and the fight's about everything and nothing.
And I think the other thing is when someone doesn't speak up when someone else is being bullying or something, that's also not okay because if somebody's overstepping a mark, like I think I sometimes do with Jeff, he should be saying to me that's not okay for me, but he keeps on saying it's fine. So if you keep on telling somebody their behavior is fine and you have no problem with it, then it's very confusing actually.
Okay, this is what it means to be an adult. Now, what happened there? So if you're an adult and you say it's fine, then it's fine. Then you have lost your right to complain, be passive aggressive. If it's not fine with you, you have to adult up and say it. That's the rule. It's as simple as that. If you say it's fine and you don't mean it, tough luck on you, because that's not fair fighting. That's not fair in a relationship. If it's fine, it's fine. Otherwise, don't complain, don't be passive aggressive, because then if somebody is passive aggressive or withdrawing, we can call them on there. We can say, you said it's fine. You're an adult. I believed you. I don't accept passive aggressiveness. I'm telling you, I have a moratorium on passive aggressiveness. I'm never doing it in my life anymore. I've been punished by it. I've been controlled by it for so long. I don't do anybody withdrawing anymore. I don't withdraw myself anymore. I'm there. I'm in it. I will be nice and level and present most of the time, except maybe sometimes if I'm sick or tired, then maybe, I'll be more human than normal. But we can actually learn to be showing up an adult 95% of the time because it feels great to be there. An adult, you have a voice, you don't lose it, you just speak from a different place. So if you take out all the stuff you're not supposed to do, the finger wagging, the judgment, the getting personal, not saying something clearly from your perspective and without blaming the other person, then if you start doing that, you stay an adult just so much more. Okay, so let's go look at our comments. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice way of looking at it, Robin. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's a really good way to look at it. Are you muted, Antoinette?
I am.
Yeah, counseling helps a lot because usually if you are with somebody who's conflict avoidant or have no or a people pleaser, then you have to go back to the oh my word. Listen, I need to switch on my Antoinette. You talk because my laptop's going to switch off. That's going to be a disaster.
Oh, Louise, don't do this to me. I can't even see the questions. You can all gaze meditatively at Louise's beautiful lamp.
Listen, dance if you have to. Dance if you have to. Doesn't matter. You can dance. I'm in a new spot today, and I have not. Don't do this. Don't do this. Are you in? Are you in?
Are you going to disappear?
It's because I'm in a new spot today. I'm not in my usual spot where everything is. It's usually okay. It looks like I'm plugged in. I'm not going to disappear.
That's a
Yeah.
relief.
Dance next time. Hi, Paul. Yes, adult. That's what I'm talking about. Adult. That's exactly. I've closed my book. Um, difficult conversations. Yeah. So what I was saying, Robin, is this before I started running for a plug, is that this is where professional guidance comes in because usually we are in that situation because we are carrying our childhood hurts with us and our childhood fears. And we're so an automatic drive that we don't understand what we are doing. And so we need somebody to help us find our adult and neutralize our childhood fears and trauma. Yeah, this is what Paul says too. It's true, and we it actually helps a lot more if we understand it. Yeah, you're right, Robin. Yeah, it's a really good point, Robin. I like it. It is we have very different love language. We need to all know. We actually have to know first what our love language is, and we can ask the people we are around, "What is your love language? What is it that you can also ask it in a language in which somebody is going to understand. What do you like? What makes you feel loved? Sometimes people are not going to know what you're talking about if you say, "What's your love language?" What makes you feel loved? And sometimes it's just being accepted. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, good point, Robin.
So I'm very much talking about accepting the other person because we want to be accepted just the way we are. We love it when somebody unconditionally love and accept us, and then it goes away because we start expecting stuff that people can't give. Yeah, that's that piece. I'm trying to remember which one of our awesome speakers said that. I'm sorry, guys. You have to go look at the main summit. You don't understand. I normally try and have a conversation which is like 30 to 40 minutes long. It's impossible. I mean, like 50 minutes to an hour long because I just couldn't stop talking to them. And I had to force myself to go, guys, you have to go now. Because it was just such an amazing thing. So you all just have to go look. Do you want? Yeah. I love it, Robin. Do you actually, are you in this? Are you committed? You have to be committed. Ah, hi, Lena. Nice to see you. Okay. All right, guys. So that's all our comments so far. Right. Antoinette. So, emergency aid. Heaven's name, go read my book. Come, people. Who want to tell her to read my book? Come. Let me see some comments there. Antoinette, already. I think it's 2 years you've had it.
I've got two. I've got two copies, actually.
Really? One for you, one for him.
Quite interesting that I don't read it. Hey, it's let's not go there right now. That's a whole therapy session.
Yeah, we can talk about that next time.
That's
Yeah,
very valuable. Thanks, Louise. Yeah.
yeah. Look, then please remember that I started writing this because while I was doing counseling and helping people through this real stuff, and of course, changing my own life at the same time, I noticed that the same thing was working for everyone. So I started writing it down. And so it's based on real life. And those stories, and there are real life stories of people who've really been helped and changed their lives. And of course, we've got people showing up on the lives who've been in the groups, and the same stuff. It's the same stuff. Everybody's applying these same stuff, and it's there. This is a handbook. If you really don't want to do counseling, then get the book, work through the workbook, and if you do it together as a couple, I mean that's just amazing. I just hear from people who do it as a couple how much they are growing because they do it as a couple. And remember, there's a workbook with it. So you do the workbook, and you self. People are resistant to counseling, and a lot of people, unfortunately, are. You self counsel because your questions that you answer are going to give you wow, like what? I didn't even notice this. You can read through stuff and not notice it. You do the workbook. I bet you will notice a few more things than you actually knew existed inside you. So I'm going to say emergency aid, Antoinette, number one, read the book. I'm convincing you this time.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Any more comments from anybody? Anything from you, Antoinette?
Oh, I think there's been enough for me. Thank you, Louise. It's been good. Thanks.
Yeah. Antoinette, this is what I want to say to you and everybody else. This is baffling. It's very baffling. We need to start with ourselves. We have to check our own language. We have to be very aware of the stuff that we bring into a relationship. That's not on. That's not working. Um, I think also the masterclass that I just did. I mean, there was also the questionnaires, and there was and we worked from the beginning from shame, which is underlying in most of us. We're not even aware of it. And it's not even adult shame. It's something that not good enough thing. And then we worked on why we should stay in these relationships, which is very much like, please, in heaven's name, learn this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get to your third relationship, and 9% of all third marriages survive. Okay, let's get real about this, 9% survive. The rest go bye-bye because we have not learned these things. So start learning them. Become vulnerable. Become available. Wake up before you end up in Splitsville. Otherwise, you're going to end up in Splitsville. And it's not a nice place to go. It's not a nice place to be. There's huge trauma associated with that. It's just not a nice place to be. No matter where you are, no matter how fed up you are, no matter how punitive you feel, when you actually get to it, you're going to have a huge wake-up call. Do the work. Do the work now. You can start today. You can start on yourself today, making sure that your contribution is an adult. And the way that you know you're an adult is it feels good. And you're not doing those things which should not be in the relationships. And it's like, why am I needing my handbook all the time tonight? Because inside our relationships, I love my pictures. Inside our relationships, we have stuff which is simply, let me see if you can see it, simply not acceptable. We have completely unacceptable behavior where we withdraw and punish and blame and shame. And when we take those behaviors out, we leave a void, a beautiful void, in which we can show up in adult. Because if you take away withdrawing, now you're connected. If you stop blaming, you have to take responsibility. If you stop judging, you have to accept. Like, huh? Hello? If you stop trying to change somebody else, you have to love them as they are. Like, if you stop expecting somebody to fix you, you have to fix yourself. Take away the negative behavior, and then you leave a beautiful void for a healthy behavior. How's that? Now, if you muted again, why are you muting?
Very, very nice. Because apparently I say and are a lot, so I didn't want to be doing that while you're talking, but that was great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, wait. Yes, that's it. Different fruity friends. How great is that? To balance and feed one's own varying needs. Nobody's supposed to be everything for you. You're supposed to go and make sure that you get your needs filled from your basket of fruity friends. Love that, Paul. That's so great.
Well, I've got enough of those.
Acceptance of one's own real life relationship adds to one's growth, unlocks self reliance, and takes the pressure of the other party. Yes, 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 yes. Well put. When you take care of your own growth, it takes pressure off the other party. Okay, start with ourselves. Beautiful void. Okay, guys, come and give us some more hearts there. We like hearts. Share this to somebody that you know needed. Okay, all right. So next week, we're not having a live because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's going to be 4 Zoom lives. If you're on my mailing list, you'll get it. And I'm going to talk to whichever of our guys show up. Sometimes we're 5 or 6 of them, sometimes we're 2 or 3 of them. I never know who shows up. I just tell them, come if you want to. And let's talk about something. We'll talk about whatever questions people have. We have some subjects, we'll sort of loosely stick to it. But you really don't want to miss it. And it's a relationship summit for men by men. But I promise you, whether you're a man or a woman, you're going to get some insights from it. Maybe, but if you're a woman and you are in a relationship and you are struggling with something, one of these guys are going to say something, you're going to go like, oh my word, this is what's going on. And I didn't notice it. Because I'm telling you, these guys have been honest, hey? And they've been saying it as it is. They have been talking about having affairs and sex and feeling rejected, authenticity. Really? Seriously, people, you don't understand. You want to go watch. Make sure you reserve next week. You really want to watch this. This is so great. Okay, Antoinette, it's like the book. Please read the book already. Please show up and watch the summit. Make space for it, okay? Make space for it. It's and come with a notebook because you're going to get aha moments. And if you have some people that you know are going through difficult times, please share it with them. Okay, last one here. There we go.
Thanks,
Pleasure,
Paul.
Paul. Pleasure, Paul. Okay, yeah, always a great contribution. Okay, guys, thank you so much for showing up. Lots of love to all of you.
Yes, and good night. Thank you, Louise.
All right, and let me see, is that the right thing? Let's hope I play the right thing tonight. Okay, see you next week in the Zoom lives. Remember, come all with your questions. And we have many in the audience. They are vulnerable. They're going to be willing to answer your questions. Okay.
Is that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Louise?
And Thursday. Four days in a row, yes. If anybody sends me questions before the time, I'll make sure that we address them. But show up, it's live. And you're not going to see it. I'm sorry, there's not going to be a recording for you to watch afterwards unless you buy the lifetime. If you buy the lifetime, you can sit back and relax and you don't have to watch it. Okay. And if you're not on my mailing list, get on it because it's actually for free. Okay. So if you're not on my mailing list, send me a private message or go sign up on my website because I've got a list of 12 things not to do. And these are the things we've been talking about. There's a book for free on my website, 12 things not to do. And these are the things that helps us to stay an adult. Okay. Lots of love, everyone.
Good night.